Hi, I'm Alice McGilvery, and I'd like to share some insights about the importance of estuaries, both in nature and in organizations. Estuaries in nature, the healthy ones, are probably the most productive places on the planet. And why is that? Well, it's basically because they're meeting places. You have the unusual combination of fresh water and salt water coming together. You have land meeting the water. You have intertidal zones. And not only do you get the species associated with each of these areas and habitats, but they're so rich and productive with all these nutrients of these habitats coming together that many animals come and visit there too, adding to the diversity. So I'm sitting in front of a pond. You can see it's not nearly as big or productive as a healthy estuary would be. But even here, it's amazing the wildlife and plant life that this area attracts because of water and land coming together. Now, I'm sitting beside a footprint of a river otter that went into the pond the other day. We have frogs breeding here. We have ducks that fly in. You can probably hear bird songs around me right now. And hummingbirds come down this time of year to pick the fluff out of the cattails to take it back to their nests. So even in this tiny ecosystem here, you can see what a meeting place does for productivity. Now, in organizations, I suggest to you that we could learn from this. We tend to create artificial boundaries in organizations and believe they're real, around branches and departments and ministries and corporations and sectors. But what if we were to loosen those up a bit and make them more permeable or more flexible? And, I came across this idea and coined the term intellectual estuary about 2007 because many of the really effective leaders I was working with who were in complex environments were using this technique. They didn't call it that, they just called it bringing together diverse groups to see what would happen and things like that. But they were in essence creating intellectual estuaries with unusual groups and people and ideas coming together in the hope there'd be the same kind of synergy that we're talking about in natural systems. So think about your own work, your consulting firm, your organization. Do you create a lot of boundaries culturally, and really are you wed to them? Are you allowing them to block the flow of ideas? Do you create open spaces? If you're in education, for example, do you have different subject matter experts from different fields coming together to help you do a creative design of an environment for learning? Or perhaps do you create entire intellectual estuaries on which people can learn with very little structure? Like, what's the structure of an estuary? It would look more like a food web than an org chart. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. And yeah, it's a pleasure connecting with you on these ideas. Please contact me if you'd like to talk about them more.